Hi, team. I'm Fitz Koehler, your fitness expert from Fitzness.com, and welcome to the Wasdin Speaker Series powered by the Fitzness Show. This series is in partnership with the University of Florida's Department of Sports Management, and my guest this month is he's an American sports legend. And one of the things I love most about him, besides his athleticism and his accomplishments, is his dedication to this country and his patriotism. I think it's a really fascinating tale on how he became American and what he's become since doing so. He's really extraordinary. So Meb Keflezighi is the only human on earth to win the Boston Marathon, the New York City Marathon, and an Olympic medal. In fact, he's a silver medalist for Team USA from 2004 in Athens. He's a Division I college athlete, or he was, for the UCLA, where he brought home numerous NCAA championships and dozens of national championships. He's a speaker. He's an author. He's got 3 books out right now: 26 Marathons, Run to Overcome, and Meb for Mortals. He's a father of 3 little girls. And since his victory in Boston, he's become the face of running and a tremendous ambassador. If you know anyone within the running industry, they just love the guy. He's a decent human being, and he's a fantastic speaker, and he has so much to share about sports and beyond. So I'm really excited to have him on the show. Folks, you have the opportunity to interact with Meb today. Use the comments section wherever you are. We're broadcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and somewhere else. But use the comment section and we'll loop you in as we can. So without further ado, welcome Marathon Meb. Hi, Meb.
Hey, Fitz. Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here. And as the first comment comes in, people are crazy excited to hear from you today.
Well, it's a great honor to be with you. You keep up the fantastic work that you connect the community of running and health fitness. And it's always great to see you announcing the road races. And now nice to be on your show.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's interesting. You and I have been at the Los Angeles Marathon together back when it was Skechers Performance Los Angeles Marathon many times and never crossed paths. It's such a big event. I'd always hoped that perhaps someone would just kind of walk you over to the announcer booth to say hello. And that didn't happen, but we got to spend some time together in 2019 in Philadelphia in the freezing temperatures.
Yeah, that was a little chilly with the big jackets we had and tried to stay warm, and the arm warmers or the hand warmers and things like that. But that's the nature of racing. You get to know your fellow runners, whether it's the announcement at the starting and the finishing races, but also among the roads that are paved for us. 13.1 miles or 26.2 miles. And, Nelson Mandela, the president of South Africa, said, sports unites us more than anything else. So whether we're called or not, we're there supporting each other, encourage each other to get to that finish line.
Yeah, and you are beloved and so appreciated. We just spent a little more time together a couple of weeks ago at Gasparilla, and you went out for both days, the whole time, spent your time out on the course and near the finish line. And it was really fun to see people's jaw drop and the joy from seeing you there waiting for them.
Like Susan Hammerly and others are very creative on how we can connect with the fellow runners. And that was to be able to be there at Bayshore and surprise the runners. And they're just thinking, okay, I got to run 13.1 miles or 15K or 8K or 5K. And they see you and you give them high five or knuckle, or they want to take a picture and all those things. So, for me to be part of the Gasparilla Distance Classic has always been fun, and to be able to be kind of in different areas and surprise them or putting the medal around their neck sometimes is always wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. And so one of the things that was notable to me, and again, you're the feature, right? I mean, our athletes are their own success story, but they see you and it's so exciting. But then we had Betty, 99-year-old Betty, who's about to turn 100, and she's done the Gasparilla 5K 10 years in a row now. And it was interesting to see her meet you. And you probably have interacted before, but I thought, wow, out of everyone on the course here today, this is probably the only one Meb is probably striving to be like.
Absolutely. Betty was awesome. She was incredible. And she's excited, and, to interact with her and put the medal around her neck was an honor. And she's like, am I going to see you next year? So she's still going on and strong, and to see her wonderful family come across, walk the 5K with her and finish the line. It's just, that's what our sports need. It inspired me personally. And, no matter how young, I saw it was Mother's Day weekend. There was a little moms that do all the tasks, and, the one hand on here and the other one dragging and trying to focus. I took a picture of that, but I wish I tweeted about it. And then you can see Betty come to the finish line. So it's never too young to all to be part of the community. And you are greatly appreciated no matter, as long as you get from point A to point B.
Absolutely. Do you see yourself doing races at 99?
Well, hopefully my joints still be working, but I mean, I like to be part of the sport for as long as I can. Whether it's walking, it would be amazing. I would love to do that. I think it's part of my lifestyle, and I hope to continue to do that until I can't do anymore. But hopefully that's a 99 or that age. That'd be wonderful. But she was great. It was wonderful to see her, come to the finish line, or acknowledging her grandkids or her kids, and call them by names and just give them a hug. It was an epic moment.
It sure was. It was very exciting. It's the back of the Packers that steal my heart every time. I always say I respect the speedsters up in front, but the back of the pack will make my heart explode, 20 times a day at least,
It's a mutual respect. Sometimes we get inspired by them, and they see us and get inspired, no matter, especially on Outback on courses. When they see you, you're like, when they interact with them, give them thumbs up, or they're like, okay, how are this human being going that they're a mile 4 or mile 7, they're mile 8 and whatnot. But you have to understand that, respect the distance and respect everyone who are out there, out the door, and taking each goal is, we all have different ability, different talents, different ages. But at the end of the day, if you can do 5K, 10K, half marathon or full marathon, my hat's off to you. So,
I love
and
that.
I hope that.
I love that. We have so many athletes watching right now. So that's a great message for the people who beat themselves up about not going so fast. So, Meb, before we go on to your championships and your training advice, et cetera, I would love to go backwards to your childhood, because I think you have an incredible story. You mind sharing that with us?
Yeah, I'll give you the synopsis of it, and Run to Overcome that tells you all the details. But I was born in Eritrea, which yesterday was the 30th anniversary of independence. It's a small country in the Horn of Africa, below Red Sea in the top part of Ethiopia. And I was born there in the middle of the war that started in 1961. I was born in 75, so I was in the middle of that. For half of my youth life was there, and I remember just a lot of horrific things, so tough to put in words, and it does come back to your mind at times. But I remember there was so many landmines that, somebody thought was a pen and it explodes, and you got to be able to collect the body with stick to get a proper burial. And not everything is grocery store. It's in a third world country, no electricity, no running water. So if you want water, you got to go to the well, which is about 1.5 miles away, and carry water. And my chore was to make sure I collect enough woods, sticks, and things like that to have fire, because I have no electricity. So I got to climb trees and with a belt to.
Wow.
When everybody's doing that, you got to go higher, because everybody else is trying to do the same thing to get the branches or the bark out of the trees, and you can't home with the basket bit empty. So, and I remember one day when I talk about my book that my brother and I were so far out. We're in a different village, and every village has its patrol, and we got caught, and we have to go. My mom had to come and bail us out with a seed of, like a water bottle size of seeds to bail you out of that. So it was that kind of story. But the fun part of it was playing soccer with makeshift soccer. We didn't have a ball, so we did was imagine like you can see my CEP compression sock that I'm sponsored by now. But imagine having those socks over the W and stuff it as hard as they can with plastic bag, tie in the middle, and then you have to have second layer, the second half, so you can have, because where we were playing, the ground was pebble rocks and dirt and all that stuff. So you need that plastic to bounce, but also you need that second layer so it doesn't get worn out so quickly. So that was a fun part, and not everybody went to school. And lottery, it was a lottery, or you had to pay 25 cents or $1, and that, which was a lot. You gotta sell a chicken or eggs and stuff to get that. So, but my sister, who's a doctor now below me, she always prayed, if I can get to when we go by the church, and as a Christian, we would pray and kiss the wall or the door of the church and pray your internal prayers, say, well, one day hopefully I'll make it to school, and I'm promising I will pay 25 cents if you get me into school and things like that. So promise that you do. So it was interesting, but I was there until I was 10 years old, moved to Italy. My dad has walked over 225 miles from Eritrea to Sudan in the wilderness. He only had a bag of barley, canteen of water, stick for protection, about $20 worth or so money. And you don't know that ultra marathon, you will understand this. If you're doing ultra marathoners, just go in the wilderness and you just know, from here to Gainesville or whatever, no roads, no hotels, just go. And you have hyenas, scorpions, snakes, or tigers that are obstacle on the way. So he would even sleep on the trees because he can't sleep on the ground. Otherwise, he's going to be a meal to the next animal. So, but he would have nightmares and he would crush his leg to do that because, on the trees, he can't really fall asleep there either. But, the biggest journey he left behind was his wife and 5 kids, one on the way, not the 225-mile walk that he has to do from the soldiers, from all those obstacles. But fortunately, he made it, and his book will be coming out. It actually came out in April. So if you're interested in,
what's the name of that book?
From 7 to 77. So his memory from age 7 to 77, and Keflezighi.com is a website for him, and you can order it. But so it's a fascinating story, and he only has 7th grade education, but he has a wisdom of a lifetime and just experience education, and he's one of the intelligent people that I know.
That's incredible. So you went to Italy, and then how soon did you make it over to the U.S.?
So for my dad, we were separated for 5 years. So I didn't see my dad and I contact for 5 years from age of 5 to 10. And I remember running in Athens, where you described where I won the silver medal. So it has a special meaning for me because he flew from Italy to meet us in Athens, and we flew first time. I'm like next to the window of the plane. I'm like, I'm going to fall. I can't be too lean. You don't know that they do all the safety stuff. You just see that little window for the first time flying. It's like, it's a mile long, almost wide. I'm going to fall, But I was the first one to run into him, and I just remember ran into him and give him a hug. I said, Baba, and then he called me Marhawi, which is my youngest brother by 4 years old. He's like, no, it's Meb. He's like, my kids, he went to tears because his expectation on our growth height was this, and I was tiny because we didn't have enough food and to eat, and feeling with hunger and drought and other obstacles that life that present in Eritrea. So it was tough, and then we moved to Italy for a year and a half. I loved Italy. Spoke Italian fluently right away, and teachers and classmates took care of me. And then on October 21st, 1987, we came to the beautiful United States, particularly San Diego, because my sister Ruth was residing there. So she sponsored us with the Red Cross. We came there, and this is the land of opportunity. The parents say, we didn't have this opportunity. So your uncles don't have this opportunity. Your cousins don't have this opportunity. So make sure you utilize it to make us proud. And basically, my dad woke us up at 4:30 in the morning before 7:30 o'clock to learn vocabulary to the English and Tigrinya, our native tongue. And basically, my oldest brother, now we're 6, one was born in Italy. There's 7 of us, and parents, and a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and survival, and but hard work does pay off. So when my oldest brother, who started 9th grade, he got the most outstanding student at Roosevelt Junior High, and they say hard work does pay off. And the trophy is about this big, and they prominently displayed on the top of the TV before the flat screen TV was in the dominance of the house, and they put it there, said this is how hard work pays off, and the rest is the history. And my brothers ran Futsum and Aklilu, and when they were in 7th and 8th and 9th grade, and I was in 6th grade because I was 12 and a half, but because of lack of English, they put me in middle school to have that transition year and to learn English. And then a year later, 1988, which just happened to be Olympic year, which I didn't know, but Coach Dick Lord goes, if you run hard, you're going to get A or B. If you mess around and go for running, you get a DRF. Well, my 2 brothers were walking around with a t-shirt that says Roosevelt Junior High Club shirt. I won one of the shirt like my brothers, and I wanted to get that. I had to run 6:15 as a 7th grader, and I ran as hard as I can to make my parents proud to get an A and a t-shirt and a picture in the gym, and end up running a 5:20 mile. And he goes, "You're gonna go to the Olympics?" And he's like, "I'm like, A t-shirt."
I
didn't know what the word. I didn't know what the word Olympic meant. So that afternoon, I went and asked my dad. I said, "What?" He said something Olympic. What is that? And he's like, "What happened?" He's like, "Well, I ran 5:20 and in Tigrinya, my native tongue." And then he said Olympic or something. He's like, "Well, I don't think your brothers ran that fast. So tell the truth." And I'm like, "Oh, that's it." And then he explained to me how every 4 years the world gets peace and harmony to friendly competition, and explained about the 5 rings.
Well, I mean, it's the kind of story that leaves you speechless, and that's the one. That's the American dream we hope for people. You come over to this country and make the best of it. Now, I believe I read that there's 10 of you now, 10 siblings, and every last one of you has a college degree.
Yeah, one of them, he went to school, didn't finish it, but everybody else has gone, and they got masters in education, MBA, and my sister's a doctor. Howie is a law degree and electrical engineering, and Stanford grad, and you name it. We've been very blessed, and we worked extremely hard. My story, but they equally have worked out in their own field, and we just hope to be a positive contributor to society.
What do you think your parents did specifically to get you all just to be such achievers?
Well, I think the opportunity that we saw we had, the older ones, we don't want to waste it, and parents, God bless them. And, my dad did the best he can. We grew up on the welfare system. We got support from the U.S. government, and my dad drove taxi to supplement that. And then the rest is work hard. And my mom, God bless her, whenever we went home from school, we were always greeted and welcome, and gave us fresh food as best we can. And we never ate canned food, anything like that. Wow. And we'd come and just eat and then study. There's nothing to it. And then you study, and then we do the dishes, and then go study more until about midnight or 11 o'clock, and then do it again day in, day out. And if you'd done your homework, there was no weekends on TV on the weekdays. Just work hard, and and our goals were driven, but also the expectation was pretty high. And the Eritrean community where I was born is a thing. If the older leads, the rest will follow. So whatever, if they're doing homework, you're going to do homework. If they're playing around, you're going to play around. If you do something else bad, you're going to do something else bad. So having that fundamental structure of the house was very important. And we were a follower of all the brothers to be the best we can.
I love it. I love it. It's perspective from where you were to where you are, and then priorities and good habits. It's something we could all, improve on within our homes. Sometimes it sounds like your parents were magicians. They're really good.
Yeah, and dad. We didn't know what tutoring was, but so for example, Akilu, or who was in 7th grade, when I got to 7th grade, he have to understand it, but also if I have a question, I have to ask him. So, and then he would do the same thing with my older brother. So you have supposed to kind of filter down, help him out to whatever it was need. So, we didn't have a desk. We had the dining table where we do all our homework, and and just lined up there and do the best you can. If you have to read, you just go into the couch and read on the couch. Otherwise, if you have to write, you got to sit proper. And it was school after school program, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess. I mean, and then the support system from your siblings, very impressive. Yeah. So when was your first race?
My first race was 1990. There's a picture of me. I do keep Gail and Steve Van Camp, my mentors from San Diego. Their daughters were cross-country team, but I have a scrapbook that they helped me assemble when I was a kid. And the picture, I was always, I loved running. It gave me the self-esteem. It gave me the opportunity to just be the best that I can. And that was a picture of me when I was in 8th grade, and my brothers were 9th, and then also 11th grader. So there's a picture of me lurking behind a tree. I'm like, they're changing, they're warming up, they're stretching together, they're talking. And I'm like, one day I hope to be there. And then freshman year, a year later, I was part of that great joy to wear that San Diego High School cross country shirt, jersey. And then, so that was my first official race, I believe. I have done 5K maybe when I was in 8th grade, but I think it was more 9th grade after the cross country. So, and it was great, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. 3 miles, 3.1 miles, and then we went. There's a great sense of humor here. It's called Huntington Beach Invitational in California, about an hour and a half, 2 hours from San Diego, and there was an invitation there. And I was a freshman. I was the favorite to win, so you got to go cross country, you got to go around, start at somewhere, the park, go around for a mile, and then you got to go over the bridge. And then the first time you go under the bridge and loop around, and the second time you're supposed to go over the bridge. But I was so much in the lead that they told me, the volunteers at Telsey, they guided me the wrong way. And my brother was kind of expecting to support each other because it was by grade, 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, and 12th graders. My brother was 12th grade. He's like, look, I'm trying to anticipate I should be where I should be, but I was where he was. And he's like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be over there. And I ran back and I'm getting 10th place. I was so much by ahead. The person that volunteered, I thought I was in last place, and he told me to keep doing the same move. So there's a good, fun way of racing, but at the same time, ever since then, I just kind of do the tour of the course now. Okay. I was just going to say that's a really good story for so many of our athletes who actually do get lost during a race. So next time it happens to you, viewers, if it happened to Meb, and he can laugh about it, it can happen to you too. So you go from there, and apparently you're quite the superstar in high school, and you get a scholarship to UCLA. Yeah, I mean, I did cross country, did the track and field, mile to mile. I think the 2 mile was too long, and then it was a great honor to go to UCLA. I loved it. It was a best academic and athletic combination. But for me to this day, that UCLA degree means so much to me because I didn't know where running would take me. Honestly, I didn't, I was winning races and I got a scholarship, but I recently saw my yearbook that my classmates that wrote on it. They're like, well, you're going to go to the Olympics. I still didn't believe it. They saw my vision before I did, but we're going to see the Olympic. We're going to see you on TV. Don't forget the small people, so they said. And but it was 1997 with Coach Bob Larson when I graduated in '94, and then the junior year at UCLA is when I really thought maybe, this is a possibility that I could do a professional, go to the Olympics. But before that, I know there were other people that saw the vision, but I didn't see it. I just wanted to get that diploma and be a normal person, go to work, and hopefully have a family and enjoy life. That was my dream. But luckily, 97, I won 4 NCAA titles at UCLA, cross country, indoor, and they had a prelim for the 5K, and then you have to come back and do the 10K, and then the 5K final. When I won those, I thought, I think I could do this. Maybe I should go professional early. But then I thought about it and nope, get that diploma. If you don't get that diploma, you're going to have, distractions on the way. So I stayed another year, in fact, to get my business specialization at UCLA. So I studied communication and business at UCLA. And once I graduated, I was excited to wear that. In 1998, I became a U.S. citizen. And I decided to, tried it for the Olympics after I graduated in 99 and became citizen in 98. And then 2000, I made my first Olympic at the Sydney, Australia, and the 10K. And, it was, it's on YouTube, you can find it. Alan Culpepper gave me a run for money. I thought I had a one, and then he just closed his eyes. He was a sprinter, and I was ready to raise my hand like this. And then next thing I know, he's right there. I had a big lead, but I have to lean. And the finish line was closer than the 100-meter finish. So I didn't think I won it, but him and Abdurrahman and Culpepper, we win and represent our country in the 10K in Sydney, Australia, prior to 9/11. Down and under, went above and beyond to make it wonderful. Still is my favorite Olympic experience, and it was wonderful.
So I've got 2 questions. Have you ever lifted your arms up at a finish and had somebody else pass you by and win it?
I feel it for Molly. I know a friend of mine, Molly Hado, who was able to do that. She was going for the bronze medal, and then somebody in field, I think her name, another American, kind of got her at the end. But for me, there was cross country that got really close in 2009 at the cross country 12K championship. I won it, but it was close. And then Abdi and I had some crazy push off at the end, and then just like grimace in the cross country courses. But no, I for those of you that saw the Boston Marathon, I was looking 100 times just to make sure that nobody was coming. So it was a very valuable lesson that I learned from that. But I still raise my hand, but I make sure I have plenty of time.
Okay, make sure you're number one. Okay, and then here's the other question, which is kind of off the sidebar of running, but you were at UCLA, which is a big fun school. Did you interact with the fun party life of being a college student? Was there beer chugging for Meb back in the day?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I was cross country track and outdoor tracks, but I'm not going to say I never went to a party. I went maybe at the beginning of the season, couple fraternity brothers, fraternity parties, but never really, because I was so committed to academics and athletics. I was always traveling. I was always studying. But, I talk about my book, Around to Overcome. I did go to a couple Eritrean dances that I go, and I would drink orange juice and water and whatever, because I got to get up at 7:30, 7 a.m. to do my 20-mile long run. So I was pretty disciplined. And that's one that Ron Taub, I should give Ron Taub, who was Ed Ramos was my high school coach, but he helped me on the side. And he goes, you can make, when I graduated, he gave me the Olympic ring flag. And he said, if I have a son, I want him to be just like you. And he said that two things, going to UCLA is a big commitment, but if you don't get distracted with college life and then be disciplined, you can make the 2000 Olympic team, and you should be able to medal 2004 and 2008 Olympic team. But you got to stay away from the distraction. And for that, I'm blessed for not be able to do that. Right.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So it's interesting. The time is flying by because you have so much good stuff to share. So I have questions. I'm kind of bleep over. I'm gonna move past. But your Olympic experience. What are the highlights of being an Olympian?
To be an Olympian is a great honor. I mean, it happens every 4 years. The highlights is wearing that red, white, and blue. I mean, at the end of the day, that's when you get that jersey, and when you're going through, team processing, you have a car, like grocery store, the big ones, and you're going through there, and all the sponsors, all the stuff is giving it to you. They put it there on you, and to get fitted and get all those uniforms, you get Olympic ring, but you could upgrade if you like, because it might be your last one. So I upgraded my rings 4 times, just FYI, because I thought the first time was going to be my last one. So
wow,
you never know what the future holds. But and then you go to compete and represent your country. You are one of the few, and proud to be able to just say, for each event, only 3 people get selected, men and women, for the marathon, 5K, 10K, 100-meter pole vault, or triple jump, or whatever it might be. You are the representative, so you have a big responsibility. We have a great honor, but at the same time, it's your moment to shine. And for me, to wear that red and white blue meant a lot, especially in Sydney, the first time because you strive to be represent your country, and sometimes you want, and then it's another notch to win another medal. If you win a medal and your flag is risen or the national anthem be played in your honor and for your country. So it's pretty spectacular and pretty amazing experience. I feel honored that I was able to represent our country on 4 Olympic team. And, I was 4th place in London, but it was a win for me because I was thinking of quitting. But when you're wearing that USA jersey and you look down when you're tired and you're like, what am I doing? How many people love to be in my shoes? Plus my daughters were at the finish line. So from 21st place, I talk about what I do, a lot of motivational speaking. I talk about the 2012 London Olympics, about that detail, about mile by mile or 5K, how thinking of giving up 21K or a half marathon and the 21st place. So my goal was to medal or win top 10. And it's not going to happen. So he's like, I'm saving it for New York. And then you look down, you're like, you know what? You're wearing that USA jersey. How many people love to be in your shoes? Your daughters are at the finish line, and family members get to that finish line. No matter how many people pass you, you're not even thinking you're going to pass people because you're fatigued. But positive thinking is important. I eventually came from 21st to 17th to 15th. And with 5K to go, Coach Larson pointed out 6 fingers. And I'm like, well, I don't know who's in the front, and if any of them get used drugs or they get busted, I want to be the one moving from 4th place to the bronze medal. So I eventually get in 4th place. So I'm proud of that race. I didn't win a medal, but I'm proud of that race and win a silver medal, and to see our flag risen in Athens. So it was first time in 28 years. It was a huge honor for me.
So you might have been born in Eritrea, but you were also born with the American spirit. That's spectacular. I love that. You have so much pride. So the next big thing on your resume is the New York City Marathon Championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I did my first marathon in New York in 2002, and it was 38 degrees, just like the Philadelphia race that you described earlier. It was cold and chilly, and tough one. And then I came to the finish line and I got it on 4 people, and then I hit the wall at mile 19. I was in the lead. I thought I could win it, and then got 4 people. I said, worst scenario, I got 4th place. I think I still can get 2nd, 3rd, or win it. But then I hit the wall, the imaginary wall, and then my mind says go, my body says you're done, you can't. And I end up getting in 9th place. And those guys that I was with, they put 4 minutes on me in the last, literally like 4 miles or so.
Wow.
And I hated it. I never won to another marathon. I ran 2:12:35, which is outstanding, but for the Olympic A standard, you have to run sub 2:12. So I missed it by 36 seconds. I'm like, I'm not doing another marathon to shave off 36 seconds. There's no way. And so my mom was there, and she saw me hurting so bad. She's like, no more marathon for you. It's a 5K, 10K is okay. No more marathon for you. My daughter was trying to massage me, and I went back to Eritrea for the first time in, I don't know, since 85. In 2002, in 17 years, I saw how people were living, what I was doing as a childhood. And I said, well, I guess that marathon pain was not that bad. I could do it again. And then I came back. But it was my dream to win the New York City Marathon ever since that day. And I thought in 2006 was the year that I was in good shape to do it. And then I got food poisoning in that race. I said, well, this is it. I didn't think I have the dream for it. And then in 2007, obviously, the November was the trials where I didn't make the team. My good friend Ryan Shea passed away. So mentally, physically, and emotionally, I was dumb. And then I remember before I left the stadium, I was on my knees and elbows moving around the hotel because I was hurting so much that I couldn't bear weight on my feet, because I didn't know that I had pelvic stress fracture, but I turned out to be a stress fracture. So when my wife saw me crawling from one place to another, and instead of walking, she's like, well, we better do something else. I have my degree and you have your college degree. Let's do something else different. And I said, well, internally, there's more than the tank that I did this race. So I made a goal to say, this is New York City Marathon will be my Olympics, that I didn't go to Beijing to represent our country. And after a year and a half of physical therapy, I was able to run a personal best and win the New York City Marathon in 2009, wearing the USA jersey. So that was for me, that was my Olympics. That was the Olympic that I didn't go to Beijing. Not that I could have won the Olympic gold. Sami Wanjuru, who ran incredible. But when I was watching the Olympics, I remember telling my wife, silver is a possible, definitely bronze, but silver would have been possible. And to have the silver medalist at the New York City Marathon when I won, and the 4-time Boston champion, it was a stacked field, and I was able to win it. So I feel very proud about that. And to have the national anthem play, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's more than cool. That's what dreams are made of. That's incredible. So at the end of that race, when did you know, hey, I'm going to be the New York City Marathon champion? And what's going through your head? Because I love all the things that go through your head. You seem to have a very vivid memory.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's vivid memories. I was trying to stay right behind, be disciplined, because I do a lot of the work. I love sharing the work. I have no problem sharing the work, but then sometimes people use you and then they leave you behind. And
right.
And that time I remember, with about 2 miles right before we make an engineering gate, or mile 22, I believe, or 23, Robert Cherier, who's a 4-time Boston champion, was in the lead. It's down to him and I now. So I was like, he was trying to say, hey, take the share. But I'm like, I've done enough shares in the past. So today I'm going to do whatever I can to get to that finish line first. And so I could sense he was getting a little impatient and getting a little bit tired. So I'm like, I was going to make a move where my good friend Ryan Shea passed away. That's what I was going to pray and make my move. But I saw the vulnerability of Robert Cherier. Said, let me just make a move this one. And then he made me have like 2-3 second gap. And then I said, the next 400 meters, this is mile 24, I believe. And I said, the next 400 meters are the most important race. And that's the finish line for me. Just try to make as much gap as you can. Just keep pushing, make the gap look bigger. And the gap got bigger and bigger. And then mile 25, I was in the lead, in charge. And I remember I started doing USA. I'm like, oh, don't get celebrated too early. Don't celebrate too early, and then coming to Central Park, and I knew I had it. And to just point to the USA jersey and chant USA coming, the finish line was pretty incredible time. And it was my dream to win the New York City Marathon. And that's my first marathon that I did, and the first marathon victory that I ever had. So it was pretty special.
Absolutely. How did your life change after that victory?
It changed dramatically. To win the silver medal put me on the global in 2004. And then 5 years later, I won the New York City Marathon. And, it was a, year I had to make a decision. We'll go to the closing market to Wall Street to close the stock market or go to the David Letterman show. So I decided to go to the David Letterman. New York does it right. New York is a big time, and they pick you up in the limo and take you to the Knicks game. And I remember going meeting Chris Paul, the basketball player, and I remember going. I wanted to get his autograph. They made a really nice shirt, Knicks shirt. He played for the Charlottes, but I had the New York Knicks shirt, and I had him sign it. And he goes, "How did you have the energy to do push-ups?" Because he saw me do push-ups after I finished. It was not a push-up, but it's more like kissing the ground. You're running. You know how to. If you kiss the ground on your knees, and you might not get back up, your hamstring might cramp up. So my style is kiss the ground and not intention to do push-up. But he just says, "Oh, I got to tell my mom that. I got to tell my mom, how did you have over 2 hours? If I could only last about 48 minutes in the NBA games, I would be so happy." So he was so excited, and I met so many other great, players and who are supportive of the New York. So to be able to win the New York City Marathon, I tell Mary Wittenberg, who was the CEO at the time, I tell her, New York made me famous.
Well, you made you famous, but for sure. So I got a question. I've read that you had an experience with some people saying you weren't American enough when you won that event. It had been a very long time since an American had won the New York City Marathon, and there you took home the championship, and you received some off-color comments. What was that?
Yeah, it was CNBC guy, I believe, Rovell, his last name. It was disturbing. I'm not going to even deny that, because you work your whole time and you were pumping your chest with how proud you are to be an American. I wasn't pointing out to the logo of my sponsor. I was pointing out to the USA, and you work day in, day out, every single day to have this dream to be able to win the New York City Marathon or the Boston Marathon or win a medal for your country. And somebody saying you're not American, it hurts. And to this day, it hurts, I'm getting emotional here. And you hope that with those success comes great things. Or there is a Wheaties box, which was, you think about this. If I win New York, maybe I get the Wheaties box. And you think that would that happen, because that's the striving of the pinnacle, and to be the best that you can. And you try to be a good citizenship and be the best human being that you can. But then there's some people that don't want to see you succeed. A lot of naysayers, I guess. But at the same time, I love racing, and I love soccer. I'm a soccer player at heart. I played soccer for a long time, and the reason I chose running over soccer is nobody can stop you. They can say things in the soccer, the coach can pull you out, or the ref can call against you. But in running, you're your own judge. There's no, you won or you didn't, or you ran fast or you didn't. You broke the American record or you didn't, or you got to the finish line under 4 hours or you didn't, or you broke 5 hours. This and within yourself. So I feel that's one of the reasons I chose running. And at that day, I feel proud to be an American and to win for us. And but there's few people that I guess weren't happy about that.
So what strikes me about that whole situation is the way you responded, and we can't control the way other people treat us or the things they say about us, but we're very much in control over the way we respond to our experiences. And I look at Kaepernick, and whether people love him or love his response or not, he chose to decide, I'm unhappy, I'm taking a knee, and it was very, very divisive. Instead, you said, I am an American and I love this country, and I'm going to hold that flag up higher, and I'm going to pump my chest with that USA on it. And your pride became bigger. And I think that's kind of the solution. Your behavior right there is, to me, the solution to much of the divisiveness in our country is own the flag. It's mine. You traveled across the world to be an American. You studied, you took a test, you earned your citizenship, and you really are an American icon. I love the way you responded to that. It really is meaningful to me.
I try to be authentic and organic as possible for me. And I love my fellow runners, and they came to defend so much for me. I said something that I'm American and whatnot, but then those people who know me, whether it's online or whatnot, they came to my rescue because they know who I am and what I stand for. It's not like it's not artificial about it. This country gave me and my family the opportunity to be the best that we can, and it has helped out to be a great citizens. And I try to go by the law and enforce the law and be a great citizen and be positive contributor. And yeah, I mean, it hurt, and then nonetheless, it does hurt. When somebody who doesn't know, you can say that if somebody knew me, I did this, and they saw me a 5-fault. But for me, my whole thing was a great honor winning, whether it's how big, how small the race are, the U.S. championships, your U.S. championships. And here are, the biggest marathon in the world, and your dreams are becoming a reality. And, been a San Diegan, and, San Diego, the community raised me who I am, and UCLA raised me the man who I am. And I didn't, despite choice, I became a citizen. But I love what this country has done for me and my family and support us over the years. And I'm the boy that, that got the food stamps and made something of it. And I'm more than happy to pay my taxes to help and whatnot. So, I didn't come here when I was an adult or for college. I came here when I was in 6th grade, and my parents, I'm grateful for my parents for making that decision on my behalf, and hopefully I made them proud to be a positive contributor to society.
Well, yes to all that. And we have a Facebook user. Some people their names are appearing, some aren't, but we USA runners embrace and love our countryman, Meb, and we hope we can share his enthusiasm with the rest of the world. Yeah, I mean, you represent us well. We're so happy you're on Team USA. We're so happy.
Well, it's always an honor, so an honor. And, every day is a learning experience. We could always learn about each other and respect each other. I've been very fortunate to have teammates and other friends, sometimes. And also, I know this is a hot topic, but I also have been not the good side of it. People see on my color and not invited to me until they know who I am. I won a medal or a silver or Boston or New York. But and other time, I'm, the beauty for me is I'm loved by my runners, but also when I'm in just a regular public, I'm not the basketball player, football player that stands out. I'm just a little guy and but I get the sense of both worlds, in the private life, but also when I'm with my fellow runners, the respect they give me, and it's always humbling. But at the same time, my very important lesson my parents taught me was don't judge a book by its cover.
Yep.
There might be some valuable information there that if you just judge it, put aside, you might not get to know what the information is inside. So let's help each other be the best human being we can be.
So our next comment's from Dennis Lebman, and he's referencing running Boston in 2014, which you won. And I was just about to go there. So probably one of your crowning achievements is not only winning the Boston Marathon, you're the only human who's ever won Boston, New York City, and an Olympic medal, but you did it the year after the Boston bombing where America was hurting and you brought some relief. So tell us about that race and what did that victory mean to you?
That victory meant a lot to me, but you have to go back to 2012 to get the whole picture of that. In 2012, that 4th place finish that I told you about, that's the door that opened for the Boston Marathon for me. And in 2013, I was scheduled to run, but due to an injury, didn't happen. And in 2013, I remember meeting an older lady. To this day, I was there for one of my sponsors doing autographs, and she goes, "It took me 22 years to qualify for the Boston Marathon." So the Boston Marathon is the Olympic for the ordinary people who are runners, and that's a diploma certificate, the walking diploma, the walking jacket, or whatnot. But in 2013, after I finished run, I did a little run, and I was there. I never get to see my fellow runners get to the finish line, so I do drug tests, media obligation and other things. But that day, I remember sitting there for like 4+ hours, just watching the races, all the the wheelchair, the women, the men, and the runners come across the finish line. In fact, there was the Boston is an arch finish, and one time they closed that arch farther away from where I was standing from the library, and I said, I see people sprinting. I'm like, you got to open that chute because people are getting congested. So I tapped the volunteer. I said, open that chute. And I had an appointment. I left for 5 minutes before the bombing or so.
Wow.
I left and I was with my friend, Rob Hill. He gave me his jacket. It was a little chilly. I was staying there. And I was, stayed as long as I could. And then I had an appointment. So I'm like, I got to do study. I was supposed to do analysis for the race. So I need to kind of refresh my mind and see what's going on. And then I left. And then the Fairmont Copley, as soon as I got there, I heard the bombing happen. And I threw the F-bomb. And I said, how can somebody have the heart to do such a disaster? So, but then again, that evening, Bonnie Ford from ESPN.com asked me, are you scared to come back? Or are you scared for your family? I said, look, how long has it been happening? And we can't let this horrific one moment kind of destroy who we are. And I remember telling her, I hope to be healthy enough to win it for the people. So to say that the evening of the April 15, 2013, and you have that, you said that to somebody, you have to carry that on your shoulder for over 365 days. It's a lot of weight, but every practice, every training, there was intention. I remember running with Ryan Hall. Sometimes we would think it was going to be electrifying. The energy is going to be crazy. Got to control, it's going to control the motion. Don't get too quick to the race. But it's all about risk taking. And for me, with the Boston Marathon in 2014, I was the 15th or 19th fastest guy in. I was 2 weeks shy of my 39th birthday. So I was not likely to win, less than 1% chance to win, but nobody can test the heart. And my intentions were to win, top 3 or run a personal best. And I had the victim's name on my bib. As you know, sponsors get very protective, but I had a Sharpie. I wrote it down because that's how I am. I wanted to honor those victims. You can't get those lives back. And I went for it. And then the Kenyans, Ethiopians, were trying to slow down the race about 5 miles to it. I'm like, you know what? Excuse my French, but screw this. I'm going to go for it and see what happens. And they let me go. And once I've been in the zone. I don't remember going to the halfway point. Halfway point, Worsley College. I'm pretty sure there's a 13.1 mile mark, but I don't remember going through it. Having done the Boston Marathon a few times, I knew what I was capable of doing. And I was wearing a watch. So I knew my pacing. And remember, I said 5:20 mile in 7th grade. That mile, I believe mile 15 of the Boston Marathon was 4:31 or 4:30, and I still had 10 miles to go or 11 miles to go. So kept pushing, but I wanted to be by myself up the hills. And it's not point to point; it's point to point, so you can't look back and see on the corner. So you just gotta do the best you can. And the crowd was fabulous. The crowd was electrifying. They were thrilled to see an American in the lead, and people are doing the waves. People are doing USA, and I kind of start joining them, USA. But I'm like, concentration on the race. You can do that afterward. Don't celebrate too early. And then with the 5K left, with about 3 miles, is when I realized I've been chased down. So now 3 things came to mind: slow down, save your energy for Boylston, which I had a vision that is going to come to Boylston, and save your kick, or try to maintain the gap, trying to extend the gap. I said, if he catches up to me, he's going to have the mental edge. So just try and maintain and expand the gap. And I would look back a lot. And I just kept pushing and pushing. At mile 24, I believe, I feel like throwing up. I just got to hold my chin up and try to swallow and then go forward. And I was hurting pretty bad, my feet. But coming the last mile, I just prayed and continuously, and give me the energy of the victims, give me the energy of the crowd. And it moves you. Stay, that's when Meb Promoter came to stay upright, the mechanics, and posture and all that stuff. You try to do everything you can, every single stride. And fortunately for me, there was 36,000 people who wanted to do something positive on Boylston Street, who wanted to own the race back. And God gave me the honor and blessing to lead the 36,000 people and to come on Boylston Street, just, to chant USA, and to look back, make sure I still got secure. I know my life is going to change forever. So what a thrill was to be able to just be the first American to win in 31 years on that day, the year after the bombing. And I feel blessed and honored to represent our country again. And the runners, not only in Boston, but also internationally. And the Bostonians don't say congratulations. They usually say thank you for healing the process a little bit more faster. And that's a big honor.
As a bit of a fairy tale, nobody could have written it any better.
No way. I try to describe it, but sometimes I see videos. It's like, I have to pinch myself, and the chills comes up still. I don't watch it. Only when I get introduced. Sometimes people show the last minute or two of that, and then it still gets sparks on my hair.
Did you get your Wheaties box?
I did. They made a Wheaties box for me. Yeah, that's a good point. So we were hoping to do, for all the runners, but they made General Mills became actually a good friend. They had me for a couple speaking engagements, and then also they made a Wheaties box. Howie was on it. My brother and manager Howie's like, got to get that Wheaties box. So yeah, there's a Wheaties box.
And how many do you have?
I have two, only two of them, but yeah.
I feel like you might have 100 somewhere in a closet.
We're trying to have it in store for the people. I think runners would have loved to have it. It's been 31 years, and to have that U.S. flag and it was maybe they could still do that on the commemorative of 10 years or something. I don't know. General Mills, there you have it.
Let's do it again, GM. All right, so I want to change place a little bit just because there's so many runners out there, and they want a little bit of you next time they step out on the course. So how much of your success was due to a well-rounded training routine? Strength training, flexibility, balance?
Everything. I mean, at the end of the day, for mortals, I don't want to be sales, but check it out because it will tell you about nutrition, rest, stretching, plyometrics, everything, strength training, and then nutrition is what we put in our system. And I've been very fortunate to have that. UCAN has been with me since 2010. I mean, like Skechers shoes, Volvo, CEP compression socks, to be able to run, the muscles vibrate, and you need to have that with the KT tape also. And then I love music, having the aftershocks is huge to be able to wear them, and energy. Music gives you energy, and also, you want to look cool when you run, so you gotta have your Maui Gym sunglasses as well. So, everything's a balance. Just have fun, and finding people to train with, being accountable is huge, and then to stretch together. What is 5 minutes, 7 minutes before and after is going to give you longevity and strength for your muscles to be not stiff, but also you should do your push-ups and sit-ups on core here and there. You don't have to do it every time, but when you can, get it done, even when you're watching TV.
Absolutely. And then what about nutrition? Marathon runners think, I run marathons, I can eat whatever I want. I think otherwise. What about you?
Yeah, if you're maybe 21 or 23 year old, and we know how many 21, 20 years old are doing marathons. So if you haven't tried, you can try, but I think you are what you put in your system. Nutrition is such an important, it's a fuel to your body, and you want to get that energy. And for me, when I was 21, 22, and I could eat anything, everything, metabolism's high. I put 100 something miles a week. It was huge. But now you have to strategize. I mean, personally for me, I like to have himbasha or a bagel before I go for a run, and then protein after a hard workout, whether it's chicken, eggs, or meat. And then also carbohydrate is important before you do your long run or tempo and things like that. Pasta, for me, I'd love to have the night before my tempo or long run or hard workout, spaghetti with meatball and red sauce. I'm good to go. So we're going to get a lot of, advices, try them and see what works best for you. And then once you do that, stick to it. It's like, it becomes part of your lifestyle and your fuel of energy to be the best you can. So don't lose sight of that.
And as we go through, just wanted to let all of our viewers know that I'm putting these messages up for Meb. You've been receiving so much love. Oh. So this will be on playback. You'll be able to see if you want to go back and see all the beautiful messages. Meb is the best. We love Meb. I mean, you've impacted so many, and this is what some people fail to recognize: is running is the largest participant sport in the world, where football, maybe we're so proud that we got 50,000 spectators in to watch our 100 guys play football. But then at our races, sometimes we have 50,000 people line up to compete. And for you to be the best of all those thousands of people is a real triumph, and certainly required lots of effort on your part. So this has been a super weird year. Are you planning to run any races soon, be Masters champion?
It is always, I love exercise. It's part of my lifestyle, and my wife here does the same thing. We love, and then we try to expose that to our kids, But in terms of racing, I haven't got the urge to race yet, but I miss my fellow runners. So I'm excited for the Boston Marathon and October 11th, or New York City Marathon first week of November, and maybe a few other races that I will attend. But yeah, it's been a strange year for everybody, a difficult year for everybody. But I think we are the fortunate ones. We can't get the life that we lost, thousands and thousands, and still hindering other countries. My prayers and thoughts go to them. But at the same time, let's appreciate every run that we have. And then down the road, maybe I'll get the urge to be competitive. But for me, it was, I get my natural high running 6-7 miles. I'm happy with that, and I would love to go into potentially, coaching down the road. And I'm still part of owner of the Carlsbad and 5K or 5,000 meters, or the San Jose half marathon and motivational speaking through Zoom and other things. I've been doing that, or cooperation. So I've been busy, but at the same time, the urge to be competitive and some things is still in you sometimes. But only when people don't know who I am and they want to just go past me, I'm like, let me just pick it up a little bit. Then I was just let me try my music, and I sometimes people will go with they know who I am. They're like, great to run with you, or can I run with you? And then I have a good friend who's named Josh. Like, can I go next mile or 500-meter with you? And then I'm like, okay, and let's go. And then the next thing is they think I go crazy pace all the time. I don't. I just go a nice steady pace, and they join me, and now we get together for a run for 5-6 mile runs.
So Meb, if you ever want to do like 3 miles at 11 minutes a mile,
that's you to go, huh?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
I'm kind of slow, but
we
that's
did that.
okay.
We did something like similar with the Gasparilla this year. They had about 5 contestants to do a run with and Dine with Meb. So that's one thing I'm doing. That I always thought about having Dine with Meb experience, and we did that with the Gasparilla 20 winners for Gasparilla Distance Classic. But we also have 5 winners to go run. We just it's not the pace. It's just when I'm there, I'm for those people. Whether it's a 9-minute pace or 10-minute pace, 11-minute pace, to get it done, we get it done, and kind of enjoy the camaraderie of friendship.
So if there's any race directors watching, and I know for a fact they are because they've been commenting, Meb's available to make your race a more special experience. He speaks, he signs books, he runs with people, he puts medals around necks. He's an awesome guest to have. So Meb, we are winding down, and I try to keep really close to the hour, but I have a lightning round, which is short, fun questions just so we can get to know a little more about you. You ready?
Yeah, but bear in mind I'm a marathon, so I might go long-winded answer.
Okay, you've got time. I've got time. Oh, and we have another slower runner. Melissa's ready to run a slower pace, so we'll put that on the calendar. So, what is your favorite type of music?
Hip hop, especially is good. And I listen to a lot of my native tongue, Eritrean languages, so a lot of drums that makes me move. And people often ask me when I run. Thanks for Aftershock, but I run with music every day unless I'm running with people. Other than that, music every day. Except when I compete, I can't have it. Okay.
Now, if you were forced to choose only one song to listen to while running a marathon really fast, what song would that be?
Two, Eyes of a Tiger, and then also New York, New York, Jay-Z and Alicia Keys.
Okay, nice choices. Very nice choices. What's your favorite movie?
Coming to America. That's an easy one,
It's a classic. Have you seen part 2?
I did, and every time I go to hotels, I don't watch a lot of TV, but when I'm in a hotel, if they're replaying Coming to America, I still watch it for the 100th or whatever time.
You can't go wrong. Eddie Murphy or Arsenio Hall.
Yeah, they're funny. They're very funny.
Yes, they are. That's such a funny answer. Well done, Meb. What is your favorite thing to do other than running?
I love spending time with people. I'm a people's person, whether it's having a coffee or conversing. Time with family and friends is important to me. And I love reading autobiography, if I have to read autobiography books. Okay. All right. And then you have 3 daughters. Can you do their hair? Are you that dad? When it's necessary, yes, I am. But thank God, when I was competing, Jordanis did all, and now they're old enough to do their own. The youngest one is the one her older sister does it, but there's times I'm not going to say I'm going to claim it, but there have been a couple of times where I have to do it, and if they ask, I will ask, "Do you guys need help?" And it's like really no, but I've done that. I love that. Now you mentioned dancing earlier. Are you a good dancer? That depends who's watching. Okay. I like to think I'm a good Eritrean dancer, but English music, I'm okay, not a great dancer. Okay, you can shake your booty? What is that shirt that says, I earned this booty? That's at the Gasparilla hat says, I earned this booty, I guess. Well, a lot about the shoulders. Okay, the shoulders.
So
I'm a shoulder guy.
Next time we're at a finish line and I'm on the microphone, you may be
you
put
can
on
do
the
that,
spot.
Get that shirt on my shoulder, whatever. That kind of dance.
I'm going to call you out and be like, all right, everybody, it's the time of race.
I can't do the Michael Jackson moves, the moonwalk and things like that. I could try, but. All
right. Well, you do your thing, whatever it is, but I will make sure that happens. Who was your first celebrity crush?
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh, Probably Brandy or Heather Lockwood, I think has a
Locklear.
Locklear, yeah.
Excellent choices. Beautiful girls.
They got me there. You got me there.
Brandy was a babe too. So what is your one bucket list race? So is there one race you haven't run that you'd really like to?
Oh man, I mean, if I'm going to go to destination places. Like I would say probably Paris Marathon. I don't know. I mean, I've been very fortunate to see the world, done a lot of the races, but there's some races, probably I would go probably Paris or Rome or something. I don't know.
Nice.
I made sure I enjoyed like a week of it, like what others try to do. Now, for me, I've been to those places, but it's been for the World Championship or track races in and out and whatnot. But if I would do races now, it would be, hopefully actually my daughter, the youngest one, no, the middle one, she's 13 and she's interested in doing a marathon. I'm like, do the 5K, 10K, half marathon, but she's done 2 half marathons. She wants to do a marathon before she's 14. And I'm like, well, we better choose a good place and make sure they're okay for you to do it. So we'll see. She wants to do it, just wants us to do it.
Have you ever run Big Sur?
I have not. My good friend, Tom Foreman, who works for CNN, has told me that, and I heard about that's a great one. I have not done it. I've seen pictures of it. I've seen the medals of it, but that would be probably another bucket list to probably do.
Yeah, Rudy and I announced that one. We would love to have you at Big Sur.
Okay, I see somebody. Rudy is saying, "Come to Big Sur." All right, let's make it happen. Another great reason to go back to California.
That's right. There's never a bad reason for it. All right, and final question is, what is your advice for someone who has never run a race but is feeling like maybe they'd like to?
Fitz, I think the hardest part about running is getting out the door. I mean, you don't have to go run. You can go for a walk, enjoy the birds, enjoy the scenery, and go to your favorite place if you can. If you can go from your house, that's awesome, save time. But if you say, you know what, I want to go check that place out, and whether it's Bayshore in Florida or somewhere else, where the water, if there's a place where you can go for a water, it's going to be such a nice place. Like for me, Mission Bay Park or Miramar Lake in San Diego was a great place to go see. Or I think just double tie your shoes and run, walk, whatever that it is. And the next advice would be just stay consistent. If it's 2 times a week, don't wait. Do it today and then wait a month and do it again. Because if you do that, every time it hurts because those muscles are sore from the pounding. And then you're like, oh, I hate run. But if you can get that 72 hours or whatever it is, and after that, keep doing it, maintain that fitness, and you shouldn't, unless you go more longer or do intense workout, the soreness should not be there. But people start and stop, and they're like, oh, this is aches and pains. And yes, it does. But at the same time, the joy that brings is much more. And you will be thankful to the person whoever introduced you to it. That's right. Yeah, it'll change your life if you let it. It'll change your life. So where can people find you? What is your website? My website is marathonmeb.com. And there's a lot of the Meb Foundation is there. The link for the Meb Foundation, Maintain Excellent Balance through health, education, and fitness for young kids. And also books. I'll be traveling the next 2-3, maybe next month or so. But you can get the books through, if you want to get them personalized or as a gift or something, you can go to the marathonmeb.com and order books through there as well. But I always appreciate you. Also, you can do @RunMeb. Through Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And are you active on those, or are those your people posting things for you? I'm active. Okay. And there's some days that I send them, I draft it and send it to them, and they post it. But it's it's a teamwork. But I'm pretty active on it. All right. Well, Meb, I got to tell you, this was an absolute honor and a privilege, and a whole heck of a lot of fun. You are a fantastic guest, and I wish you would join me every week because I feel like we could talk about all sorts of things. That went by so fast. I didn't even think that we covered all these things. So I appreciate you making it easy for us, and keep up the great work of what you're doing. And thanks to everybody for your support, Fitz, and for myself included. Thanks, Meb. And since we are here with the University of Florida's Wasdin Speaker Series, we like to end the show with a big old chomp. So you got to put those big arms up, right arm high, and give it. Well, I know once the camera is there. There you go. Which way? There you go. Perfect. All right, Meb. There you go. Good one. Perfect. I look forward to seeing you on race day. And for everybody else, thanks so much
for tuning in. We have more great guests coming on the Fitzness Show. June 10th will be Jeff Galloway. He's going to talk about his recovery from his heart attack. I think Jeff is doing great. And share this one with your friends. Everyone needs to hear a little bit of Meb, a little bit of inspiration in your life. So take care, everyone. Get to work.
All right,
Bye,
thank
team.
you.